The Coaching Hour with Witumelo Tolakai
on Zoe Live Radio.
www.zoeliveradio.co.za.
Good evening and welcome to the Coaching Hour. I'm your host, Khensani, Chauke, and it's Tuesday night, date night with me. And on Tuesday, what do? We learn and we transform, we are equipped, and we are growing each and every week. So this week we are speaking about purpose. What is purpose? How do you know that you have a purpose in your life? Some might call it, I have a calling. What is your calling? How do you understand your calling? How do you know that you are called in this earth to do something about your life? So this evening, I have a special guest, my favorite coach, Coach Dingani Ratlhapane. He's one of the coaches in Coaches on the Move, and he's a great leader. He's an author. He has a book, and we'll talk about his book later. I hope he has his book with him so that he can show us the book and we can go and get a copy of the book later. So, Coach, welcome to the show, and how are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Coach. Thank you very much for inviting me to come to this to the studio to be able to talk to the listeners and the viewers. I really appreciate it, and it is my pleasure. And I hope whatever that I'll be sharing with them, it will be something that is empowering. It will be things that when I'm done, they'll feel like, you know what, now I can see the way, now I can see why I'm here. So I'm hoping for people to gain something very, very valuable from this interview. Thank you.
Absolutely, Coach. Thank you for coming through tonight. And guys, before we start with the show, remember to like, share, and subscribe in our YouTube channel. Go invite your friends, go grab your notebook, your pen, and a cup of coffee, and share this feed to those who want to learn more about their purpose, because I believe that knowing and understanding your purpose is the foundation of your life, because from there you are able to align yourself with the things that are helping you grow in line with your purpose. Coach, kindly introduce yourself. Who is Coach Dingani?
Okay, Coach Dingani is I'm an author. There's a book that I wrote, and it was launched last year on the 9th of October. And I'm actually a life coach, and I do life coaching sessions with people, the students and the clients. And I do two types of sessions, if I can just be more specific. The sessions that I do that are related to mindset, I call that ultimate destiny. That is the session that is related to the purpose. And then there's other sessions that I do that are related to the mindset. So specifically that focuses on how you can go into and make sure that you empower, you strengthen your mindset so that you can receive all the powers that you have, because already you are very powerful. So that maybe you don't realize it yet because you have not gotten into that power to get it out so that the world can see it. So those are the two things that I focus on as a life coach and a trainer. Yes.
Wow, Coach. Yeah, especially the mindset. So, Coach, why coaching? Why have you decided to do coaching?
Okay, that's a very good question, actually, because let me tell you something. I hope people that I'm talking about could be listening now, because, I was in the corporate sector, actually, some few years back. And what happened is, I used to obviously do your work, the job that I was supposed to be doing. And over time, because this is something that used to come a little bit in my life, and I felt like, I feel more inclined to inspire people to become their best in everything that I'm doing. And as time went, I started talking too much about the reason why people exist, why you have your power within yourself, why you need to get this power out, why you need to live your purpose, why you need to actually go into this into your mindset to realize how powerful you are. So it get to a point where I realized that, as I'm going forward, I'm talking more about these items of mindset and purpose more than what I'm supposed to do in the corporate sector. And I realized, there's something that I need to do. There's something that I need to share with people in this world. And I realized, many people might want to know or hear what I'm sharing with these people that are here, because it was a few people that I was sharing this with about why you exist and why it's important to be able to know why you exist, and the mind as well. So I noticed, this is something that I need to share with people. Hence, the idea of book even came up at the same time. So it was too much about sharing and feeling the calling. I think there's something that we just mentioned about calling. I felt this. It's something that I don't know if people will be able to get this, because I had this, like, a voice that was always saying to me, I need you to share certain things with people. You need to share certain things with people. People need to understand and know the amount of powers that they possess. So it was that type of a calling that I had to follow. I had to honor. So I was called to do the things that I'm doing now. If I can put it briefly.
Yeah, I understand you. And when did you discover your own purpose?
My own purpose, I think I can say I discovered it. It is long time back. Let me just say, actually, I wanted to say the last 10 years, but when I spoke to people that know me, they said, no, you can't say that because you have been doing this since we were teenagers with you. It's all that what happened with me was I had this almost all the time, but as time went, because of the society that I grew up in, I was coerced into thinking and knowing as if certain things are the way life must be. I went into the belief system that says you need to go to help, because I'm from Limpopo, by the way. And when I came here, I was told, no, you need to get there, get to Johannesburg, get a job, work, get a house. And I fell into that as well. I accepted it. There was a role that I played. And I felt this is the safest way to live life. But as life went on, I realized, but it is the safest way, but is it the fulfilling way to live life? So it has been there with me that I can't actually pinpoint to say 10 years, 15 years back, because I even did the programs that are related to life coaching many years back, but it was dormant because I was busy with the work in the corporate sector. So it's been very long now.
Yeah. And what has changed after discovering your purpose?
I think what has changed is I have seen what I can call it a miracle happen, because when you know why you exist, there's something that is, let me put it this way. When you have a lion that is in the cage, and you take the lion and you put it in the forest, in the bush where it's supposed to be a lion, it might take time it might struggle a bit to be in the forest. But over time, after some time, once it realizes that I'm the lion and this is what I'm supposed to do, there's nothing better than being fulfilled by what you're doing. So I think that is the type of feelings that I have, or the type of life that I feel that, now I can impact on people. You see, I think, Coach, let me tell you something. When you hear people that you don't know telling you that you are what you have come up with, your program has changed their lives. Your book has actually changed their lives. And actually, if I can give you an example, I was with someone, he's an executive in a company, it's an insurance company. And this person was telling me that, at home, actually, my wife is surprised to say, why am I behaving differently? And he said, I told her I read this book twice. And because of this book, I was able to change and feel gratitude most of the time, because I used to complain a lot. So when you start to see that type of impact in people's lives, you start to realize that, this is exactly what I needed to do in my life, because I needed to touch people's lives. And just a quick one, when you see a person, Coach, that says, I went through a very terrible divorce and life lost meaning. And once they go through a program, they say, now I can see life. Now I feel like I can live. I don't think there's something that is as fulfilling as that. I think that is the type of fulfillment that I felt so far with going through and helping people.
Okay. And before you discovered your purpose, right? How was your life like?
My life was conformity. I was conforming to what I know or what I was told. Like I just said now, that as I grew up, whatever that was said, you see, there's something that I normally teach my students in my classes, that where does belief comes from? And I tell them, you're not born with a belief. They're like, I said, no one is born with a belief. This belief is something that somebody repeats over and over and over again, and it becomes the reality that you take. When I was in the village, I can tell you, Coach, it was all about go to Gauteng and get a job. And it was said by my father, my mother, my uncle, everybody that I was associated close to. This is what they said. And even myself, like I accepted the idea because it's people that I trusted. And as well, I confirmed to say, you know what, I must go to Gauteng, get whatever. I got qualification. Obviously, I went to tertiary schools and I got qualification. And the first thing that I wanted was to get a job and get paid and have a house, a car. That is what I believed life is supposed to be. Up until I realized this is not all that life is supposed to be all about. So that is it's what I accumulated in terms of beliefs from other people up until I discovered for myself that no, it is not how it's supposed to be. You can live your own life regardless of what people have said to you. So that is how it came about in my own life.
Yeah. And what kind of qualifications do you have?
You see, if I can tell you qualifications now, you're going to say how does that really make sense, Coach? Because you'll see what they call when they say a person can actually reinvent themselves. That type of an example. I'm going to say them, and I can tell you where you are sitting. You might say, but this seems like doesn't make sense because this qualifications are mixed. First, if someone tells you they are a qualified microbiologist, the last thing that you are going to expect is what I'm going to say now. About the second qualification. This microbiologist and this person goes and studies town planning. These two, even professors were like, but this doesn't go together. I said, remember, you can do all this. So from town planning, this person goes to environmental management. Does environmental management. This person now goes to risk management, does a risk management, and then at the same time, I went in because I was doing what you call a side hustle in terms of my purpose. At the same time, I was busy with my attending all these programs by Tony Robbins, all the Dion Groenewald on the life coaching and all the things that I need to do in terms of mindset to refine myself in my purpose because I didn't want to leave my purpose behind. I think that is what I always wanted to do. But those are the type of qualifications that I have. It's a mix, can call it a mix masala of qualifications.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Coach, because I also have credit management, I also have IT, and with IT, I did it immediately after passing matric because I got it through a bursary. So my bursary was selecting 2 courses to do. So I had to do is either marketing or IT. And I'm telling you, I'm sitting with IT. I passed with distinctions. I've never worked as an IT specialist or do something that is in line with it. And you know, but now I understand why, because it didn't even give me anything, but I had to do it because the bursary was there. No, according to how you have passed, we have selected 2 courses for you. It's either you can do this or this. Then I chose not the marketing, because I know marketing has business in it and there's a lot of reading. I said, let me try something new, something that I don't know. And it was very surprising how I was passing that course because me and the computers and all that, it's not my thing. but I had to do it. And I did very well on it. So I do understand when you speak about qualifications that sometimes you can go and study a certain course and have a certain degree or a master's, but at the end of the day, they don't serve you. They don't serve you with anything. You're just collecting knowledge. And it's good to collect knowledge because some people will say, why do I need knowledge? I can finish my matric and get a tender and work. Why do I need knowledge? You need knowledge because anyway, how are you going to run that tender if you have no clue at all? If you have no background in business management or finances and all that, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to build your company because of you have no background. So it's very important that even though you want to start your own business, start collecting knowledge on how to do it so that you can grow it. Because yes, tenders are good. You can have a tender and make enough money, but at the end of the day, if you don't have knowledge, you won't be able to invest and grow the business with the tender mine. I've been there, I've done the tenders and all that, but because back then I didn't have the knowledge that I have now, I have nothing to show with what with the profit that I made in those kind of projects. So it's something that I said, you know what, knowledge is power, personal development is power, and understanding your purpose is the foundation of everything, because you will be able to handle yourself. You'll be able to know what to do with what God has given you. So Coach, because we're speaking about purpose, let's say someone doesn't understand what purpose is. We can understand and get a definition of purpose from the dictionary, but according to your understanding, what is purpose?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And I'm really hoping, once I explain this, I hope to the viewers and the listeners, this will actually become very, very clear, and we'll see how important this is. Okay, the purpose is this way. I'm not going to put a very long sentence that is going to take time for people to really remember to say, but what was that? What was he saying about purpose? It is this. Purpose is actually the original intention for the creation of anything. Take it that way, that when you create anything, the original intention of the manufacturer, of the person that designed something, it is what is called purpose. And I'm going to actually give examples to what I'm talking about now here. All right, you have seen there are so many cars out there. There are different type of cars. There's Kumbis, there's like the sedans, you can call them Mercedes-Benz, and them. They're different. There's trucks, there's buses. Let me take it back to where all this comes from. There's what is called the manufacturing area. There's a manufacturing area. In that manufacturing area, when they create a bus, they create it. I can tell you, if we were to go there, Coach, me and you, and say, oh, I see you are manufacturing a bus. The question that is going to come is, why are you creating a bus? They'll tell you the intention for creating a bus. There's no way that they can just mixing things and then they say, no, we're just sending this into the market for what? Because there must be a purpose. When you create a cell phone, there's a certain reason for why the cell phone is created. It has to do certain things. And I'm going to make it in a simplified way so that we can take it to ourselves as people. I'm just talking about equipment now. When they create a TV, when they design TV, whatever the manufacturing area, they are creating a certain purpose when they send it to the market. All right? Now let's do this. Once they're done, if we were to visit these places, Coach, this is what you'll find. There's a certain area where there is a testing station. They have to test all this equipment that are coming from the manufacturing plant. You have to test them. Why are they testing all this equipment? Because that's why people drive a car, they're like, hey, I have a new Mercedes-Benz, I have a new Toyota Corolla, and it's a new car. Chances are that it's a new car for you, but it's not as new because the car was really tested before it came to you. That phone that Samsung that you have, it was tested before it was sent to the market. And why do they test it? They test it so that when it goes into the market, it does what it's intended to do. Remember the intended, underline the intended. It must do what they are intending it to do when it goes to the market, when it goes to the customer. And once it's with the customer, they are so confident. They know that our product is supposed to do what we intended it to perform when a person has it. And they have confidence with that. So that is what happens with a product. To say they know exactly what is expected of the product when it leaves. Now, let's go to people. That's why I'm going to answer even this question of, do we all have purpose? There's no one who does not have a purpose. I just want to put that very clear at the beginning. All of us, you see, if cars, Coach, if cars and equipment were created with a purpose, please, God help me. If this equipment were created with a purpose, what about a human being? I mean, a human being is supposed to have dominion over all these things. And some people, they'll come like, you know what, yeah, you see, they're talking about purpose, but I feel like I don't think I'm good enough to be able to do X, Y, and Z, whatever that they feel maybe they're purpose to do. But let me tell you why the testing happens with the equipment. They are testing it so that when it goes into the market, it's all resourced. It's resourced to do everything that it's supposed to do. So the mere fact that you say there's something that's very interesting now. The mere fact that you are here, just the fact that you are here is proof enough that you came here, you were tested before you came here, and everything that you need to do is here with you. It's the purpose that was supposed to perform. It's here with you. You just need to make sure that you call forth and get off all these things that you need to perform to show that the purpose that we're created for. But I can tell all of us have a purpose. We just need to identify and get that purpose out. There are ways to do that, by the way, in terms of how do I get this purpose out. But we all have a purpose. If a minibus taxi was purpose, it was created, what about us? Really?
because my next question was, how do I identify that I have a purpose in my life? Because I remember earlier you spoke more about beliefs, that when we grow up, there are beliefs that are installed in us. Like someone will say to you, Marijuana, you can be a good police person, you can be a good nurse, you can be. So when you grow, as you grow older and looking into going to high school, from high school to tertiary, you are aligning yourself with the beliefs that you were given, that okay, you can be good in being an engineer, you can be good in being a police person, or some we are having that belief, if you can become a doctor, you'll make enough money and you'll have a secure job, security wise, you know. So most of the people, I think we take purpose as careers. Like we saying, no, my purpose is in, if I study this, then that's when I find my purpose. So how do I identify purpose?
All right. How do I identify my purpose? Actually, I just want to start with something that you just mentioned, that a career, we get a career and we think this is something that I can be purposed for. Let me tell you the difference between a purpose and a job, actually. A purpose, purpose is not something that you go to do with the intention of money. That is the one big thing about purpose. Purpose is all about fulfillment of the creation of being. Just the fact that you are here. Money will just come after the purpose. But a job is something that you do to be able to be paid. That is the difference. And if you talk about fulfillment, you'll see two things. If you have seen how people drive when they go to the same careers in the mornings, and tell me that is, yes, if that's what the difference shows between what is purpose and what you have to do for a living. If you have to do something that is stressing you up, you're in traffic, you're even shouting at people on the road, it tells you something that, you know what, this is not something that fulfills you. You are doing it because you want to be paid. But a purpose, okay, I'm coming back. I didn't forget about how do you get it. I just want to get this one of the difference. A purpose, I want to just give the people that we know, people that we knew, that are obviously great figures that I can quote, and people can say, oh yeah, I remember this person. If you go back and look at Mandela and Martin Luther King, there was nothing about money. And I hope this makes it very, very, very clear. There was nothing about money. It's about fulfilling the reason for why I was created. I'm just fulfilling the reason why the Creator brought me on earth. And once I fulfill it, guess what? All these things will come to you. Seek ye first the kingdom, all the other things. But we want to seek the other things before the kingdom. I'm telling you, you are not going to get it right if you start the other way around. You have to start it right. Then you ask me the question about how do I discover the purpose?
How do you identify?
how do I identify? Thank you, coach. How do I identify this purpose? I have in my book, I have 6 things, but I'm not going to say all of them because I need you guys to actually have a copy of this book. Because it's everything that I'm saying now.
Okay, good.
One of the things that I'm mentioning there is that to know who, why you are here. Actually, the people that you are living with, because they were all created by God. People are going to give you clues. Coach, people are there, they'll give you clues. If you talk to people that know you, they'll tell you, no, but coach, you are better doing X, Y, and Z. And whatever that they are talking about by the way, is going to be helping people. A purpose is always directed towards helping humanity. If you cannot do that, the question, yes. The second thing is, how much do you have time for yourself? That's another thing. Sometimes we're just too busy. Life is just too busy that you don't have time to sit back, meditate, ask yourself this question. Okay, I am Coach Dingan, but why am I existing? Why am I here? You'll get answers. Guys, you ask spiritual. Okay, let me just say this. We are not people with spirit. We are spiritual beings living in a body. We are spiritual. I can tell you, if you sit down, keep quiet, and connect spiritually with your creator, you'll be given answers. I can promise you that. You must say, but that cannot, it works. It works, you'll get answers. There are other ways that you can do, like journaling, but it's a long list. That's why I'm saying this, get the book. Because if you just write with your pen, coach, it's surprising what I'm going to say now. If you just get a paper, just start writing. I was born to do X, Y. Just write a long thing. You are going to be surprised that your mind knows. It knows why you are here. You are ultimately going to get clues to say, I'm repeating this word often. I'm repeating this word often. Maybe it is me supposed to be helping people with X, Y, and Z because it's about helping people. So there are ways to identify this purpose. I just mentioned the 3 of them: journaling, meditation, and people that you know, they'll give you a better clue. That's what I'm saying. People are saying, but we were doing this thing since we were even at high school. So they gave me the guarantee that you have been, confirmation that you have been doing this thing for all the years. I hope that helps.
Yes, and also with family can identify what you are called for. And it depends on what kind of, like, we have positive and negative. Some they might say it in a negative way, and some they might say it in a positive way, in a way that it will build you and make you wonder, what exactly is it that God wants me to do? I remember when I discovered my purpose. Now I discovered my purpose in 2019, like where I had it straight from God, because all along, as I was growing up, I was told that, when you grow up, you can be a good social worker or a psychologist. You love listening to people. You always giving them counseling, you advise them, and you always want peace. Like whenever there's a conflict, when you are a peacemaker and all that. And when I eventually went to high school, like most of my friends from home at school, they used to call me Mamuruti. Like, in English, Mamuruti is a pastor's wife. Like, so even now, they still call me Mamuruti. Even my own father calls me Mamuruti. Like, he still calls me Mamuruti. So at the time, I was, that's why, like, my cry is more into the youth, because I wish they can seek purpose while they're still young. Like at the age of 16, 17, 18, their mindset must be channeled into finding out, why did God created me? Because now I was just living my life and, being a good person, being kind, being Mamuruti, that everyone is saying you are Mamuruti, but not understanding exactly what does it mean and what kind of and as soon as when people are saying you are Mamuruti, in your mind it's like, okay, maybe I'll be married to a pastor. And I wasn't married to a pastor, I was married to opposite. I was married to opposite what a pastor is, So, but the name Mamruti still remained with me, even though I wasn't married to a pastor. Then later, I think in 2016, I started doing consumer education. I started facilitating, but the facilitation part didn't start 2016. In fact, it started when I was still in college. I once applied for a evening class, like the evening class, you go in the evening and then you help other people. So I was teaching them Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, those small office, Microsoft Office. So I had few modules, or I can say few courses that I used to do with them. Then I developed the love of helping others. Not normally I say I developed the love of helping others, but people that know me better know you have the love of helping others, not that you developed. It's who you are. Then from there, okay, I continue and do something else. I went and become an office manager to a certain office, and then my life was like, okay, it's 9 to 5, it ends there, and then at home I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and that's who I am. All I knew is to be good all the time, humble yourself, have a character that symbolizes who God is in your life. So those were the principles I lived with then. Even now, I still have the same principles, but I didn't dig deep for exactly what is it that God wanted me to do. Even though I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter, but what is it? What is my purpose in earth? At the time I didn't have that. Like most of the people who are living in this time, having coaches, having this podcast, and having all this knowledge that is out now, they are so fortunate, because in our time we didn't have much. Even though we went to church, church taught us how to live a righteous life, but somehow, some way, they missed on teaching us what is it exactly that God has called you to do. Then when I started with consumer education and facilitations, I realized that I get a certain fulfillment that I've never experienced before. It will fulfill me to such an extent that when I do a certain session, I can't wait for the next session. And I'm an introvert. It was so hard for me to stand in front of people and introduce myself and all, those kind of things. But I love in a corner, find someone and help. What can I help you with? Let's see, maybe you can do this. Then after, in 2019, then I became a trainer from 2016 until 2019. That's when I understood exactly what God has called me, and it came as a word of prophecy. We had a conference at our church, and from there, and funny enough, when the altar call was called, they were praying for people who struggle with unforgiveness. And I said, no, now I've dealt with my unforgiveness, healing and deliverance. I've attended those sessions, because in our church we have sessions like healing and deliverance. Like, we do it the whole day. You need to understand what is healing, what is deliverance, and we have modules inside dealing with like one matter at a time with your life. It's you and that moment. It's you and God fixing your own life and who you are. Then I said, no, I've done that, so I don't need to stand up. I'll sit down. And I sat down. I'm telling you, I didn't want to go there, but there was something that is holding me, and another heart says, no, go and let them pray for you. So when I got there, then the apostle Neil did prophesy upon my life, and he said to me that, do you know why God put you where you are today? And I was like, listening, put me where I am. And he said, I see young people in your life. And he doesn't know me. A lot of people in the church, they didn't know what I'm doing for a living. They didn't know that I'm a facilitator. I train people. And that day, I felt like I saw God with my own eyes, and I could feel the glory of the Lord upon my life. And one thing that is powerful about discovering your purpose in life is immediately there's transformation, because from there you start aligning and channeling yourself with the purpose that God has called you. And that's where the growth comes. And I'm telling you, because I was, like I said, I'm an introvert. I don't like talking in public. Like, most of the time I want to count how many people are there, who is there, like, so that I can be comfortable with people that I talk. But now, because of I'm growing and helping myself to be who God called me to be, I'm improving. I'm no longer counting who's there, who's, those kind of things. So I like all the time. All the time I just say, Holy Spirit, please help me and activate me to do what you have called me to do, because I'm a vessel and then you can use me. So that helped me to totally transform my life. I'm telling you, maybe people can say, we don't see any change, you're still the same person. But because I know myself, I did realize that knowing that only, that this is what God has called you to do, totally changed my mindset, how I think, how I look at things, how I do things. Like, that's why it's so important. And understanding your purpose, it's something that, Coach, as you said, you are a purposeful coach. You do purpose. I'm telling you and encourage you that don't stop. Make sure that everybody knows and understands what their purpose is, because sometimes we look into life and do things that are not aligned to our purpose because we can't even identify it. Because now, when I was growing up, my mom wanted me to be a doctor, because of the personality that I have, the personality of caring. No, when somebody's sick, I'm looking after them. I want to know how they're doing. I want to give them food. Sometimes I become a little bit bully and bossy, that if you're not doing this, you're not gonna get well. Sometimes we do that. I still do that as a mom, that if you don't eat or if you don't drink your medication, you're not gonna get better. But she was looking into what can I do with the gift I have, because I wanted to also ask you that gifts versus purpose. Do I focus on what God has given me as a gift and then I say, no, it's okay? Or do I go and seek the purpose behind the gift that God has given me?
Okay, that's a good question. Actually, now that you are saying that, let me tell you something. I indicated at the beginning that I have a program that I run that is called Ultimate Destiny. Actually, what it talks about is it's a flow of series. The first one is purpose itself, discovering the purpose. The second part is actually identifying your gift and sharing your gift. The third part is actually getting to a vision. How to do this? Because they are going to, you'll see when I explain the gift that is flowing together. And the last part is just on the goal, to say now, how do I get a goal? How do I develop? How do I set up my goals? Just on a quick move. That's why I was saying that my book is just supposed to be two books. It's two books in one. The purpose is to know why existence is there, why you exist. But once you know your purpose, how do you actually make sure how do you actually implement the purpose that you have? You implement your purpose through gifts. gifts. I use the word gifts. Purpose is one. There's a purpose. But we have different gifts. And with the gifts, a gift actually fulfills the purpose that you have. That is very important to know. And with the gifts, people have different gifts, but there's one gift that I always recommend that focus on the one gift. Once that gift is, you have maximized it, optimized it. Now you can pull the other ones around to say, you know what, I can also do this, I can also do X, Y, and Z. And now, okay, it's on the gift. Quickly on the vision, because there's also a part on the vision. All chapter on the vision is when I say the reason why I exist, it can be very broad, but the vision is the picture, is the actual picture of what you see. That's why many people, they'll say Mandela has a vision, so they don't say the purpose, because the purpose is not something that you can see. When a person says, my 4 little children one day living in a place where they are not just by the color of their car, now it's a picture of children. That is what is called a vision. And that is why you had when they say that it's actually a scripture that is in the best book that ever existed, that for the joy that was before him, he could enjoy the cross, it could endure the pain of the cross, because he has seen what? The cross, he has seen the promise, he has seen himself sitting on the right hand side of his father. So vision is seeing, is now seeing physically in your mind, by the way, not with your physical eyes, because we don't live by sight, we live by faith. You see it in your mind that I am this type of a person. And once you have seen yourself with that picture, there's no way that you can be depressed easily. I still want to get a person who's very, very feeling down, feeling depressed, feeling out of sorts when they know where they're going. I never heard them say Mandela was under depression. He was never like that. The picture that he had propelled him to what he wanted to achieve. So if you check in the big book that I'm talking about, all these people that you see, your Joseph, they saw themselves as something. I hope people get this. He said, Father, I saw myself being at a certain throne, and I was feeding you and my brothers. It's a vision. He saw himself there. And even when they threw him in the deep, because he saw himself already sitting somewhere, whatever that he went, it is, you see, if there's one thing that will make you to go through trouble with grace, it's vision. Once you've seen the picture, coach, I always give an example when it's a physical, when I've in a physical, a physical interactive session, not on the Zoom sessions, but where it's live, to say I let a person stand, and then I put something behind that person to say, if you see this gold there, and then you come back and stand here, and someone puts this person stands here and blocks you to the gold that you have seen. Coach, I can tell you, you are going to do all means necessary to get this person out of your way. If you can't jump them, you try to go down under. If you can't, you go to the. But if you don't have a vision, once they block you, go to the other direction. If they block you, go the other direction. You run wild. That's what they say. Without vision, people run. They just run astray. You don't know where to go. You touch this, it doesn't go. Even if they said, there's an example that I give to say, even if people see there's a treasure and they realize to go to the treasure, there's a river, they'll build it. They'll try to make sure that they build a bridge. If the bridge cannot work, they're going to put some boats. If the boat cannot work, they are going to make sure that at least they put something that can make them to jump over, because they've seen something with their eyes. So that is the way they go together in light. And then to get to that same picture that you want to get to, there are supposed to be signposts. Like if you go to Cape Town, you have to know which road to take, which one to leave. Those are the goals. You have to know, oh, okay, now I'm in Bloemfontein. You have reached your first goal. You need to, it's a combo. I call it a purpose combo. You must know a purpose. You must know your gift. And even the gift itself, by the way, coach, I have a list of how to determine the gift that you have. And what do you do once that gift is there? Once it's there, what do you keep it going? How do you keep it going? Because to have a gift, by the way, it's not a given success. I think that is very important for people to realize. Many people have gifts, but this gifts you can just see they just go to waste. I have something that said, how do you maintain and make sure that you refine and work with this gift forever so that you keep on improving? So that is how critical it is. But yes, gifts fulfills the purpose. It's one thing.
Oh, okay, Coach. I hear you loud and clear. And when it comes to purpose versus calling.
Actually, this is we're talking about one with different names.
People don't understand.
Yes, Coach. When we were saying minibus taxis or that iPhone from the manufacturing plant, the calling of the iPhone is the purpose for the iPhone. That is simply why you are called to, because you are called to do something. You are purposed to do something. That is why you are here. That is what it is. It's actually the calling itself to say you are called. That iPhone is actually called to the iStore to serve a certain purpose to customers. You are called to come here to either be either you are a coach, either you are a pastor, either you are a musician, either you are a dancer. It's what you are called to do. And by the way, something quick that I can share with the viewers and listeners is that with the talent, what is good about gift and talent is that this is something that you do absolute best with the minimum amount of effort. So that is what I like about gift. A gift, you don't have to be like, if you have to do it very, very hard, I start to ask myself, is this really your gift? Because your gift is like a Lionel Messi. When he plays, it's like you can play. When he plays, it's like, I think I can also play. That is a gift. You don't have to be going too far to search a gift. It just shows itself. And a gift will make room for you because we'll pay you for a gift. Can you see how life has been simplified?
Yeah.
Simplifies life. Yes. Because people pay people for their gifts. That's how it is.
It comes naturally. It's in
It comes naturally.
Yeah, it's in you.
So, Coach, I was saying to my son on the weekend, I said, my son, I always ask myself to say, people came with jobs, but people are searching for jobs. He said, what, Daddy? I said, no, wait, people have jobs already, but people are coming and say, I'm looking for jobs. They already have these jobs that were given naturally. So all you have to do is share this jobs with us, and we'll pay you for it. You just go and sing, and you pay for it. You just go and have a boxing match in Sunset, and people pay you for it. Please, guys. Life has been simplified by your own creator. They simplified it, but sometimes you make it complicated. Yeah, no, I need to go and do. No, already you have these things. Refine them. This gift, refine it. If it means doing it for free, do it for free. If it means talking to people for free, tell them for free. But you'll be rewarded later on. There's no worry about it. You will be rewarded. Yes.
Yes, it's something I also learned, that let the one who sees your heart reward you, because most of the time we spoil what God has given us because we just want to use what God has given us to make profit, and sometimes we're not even doing it right because we're focusing on that. No, God has given me this gift, or God has given me this purpose, so it means the purpose must just give me money. If the purpose cannot give me money, it means it doesn't come from God. So it's one thing I also realized, that leave your purpose. Make sure that whatever that you do it for the glory of the Lord, and the one that sees your heart will definitely reward you. And my daughter was asking me, so what do you mean God will reward you? Then I made an example and said, you know what, Nana? Let's say I go to a certain workshop and I facilitate there and I give it my best. Remember, when I went there, I went because obviously they're going to pay for those sessions. But because when I go there, I do it with all my heart, I put everything in it. Somebody, they can recognize and say, no, I want to have the same workshop that Khensani hosted in maybe in a certain company, and for that person to decide that, no, when can I book you for the next session? That itself is a reward, because of it means I'll be moving from one place to another and making money because of the purpose I have. And because of the purpose that I have, I'm doing it for the glory of the Lord and doing it and giving it my best. That's how God will reward you. And that's how she understood. Oh, now I understand when you say the one who sees your heart. Because I always tell, when I'm doing leadership trainings. You know how employees, most of the employees, how they behave, they become negative when they do their own task or duties at work. When they only perform well when they are seen. When they have a supervisor who's supervising them or a team leader who's always behind their back and all that, that's the only time they perform their best. But when there's no one there, they don't use that opportunity to do the best. They just use that opportunity to do their things or waste time and all that. So I always encourage them that, let me tell you, the best things are done when somebody's not watching. And you think that somebody's not watching, but there's someone who's watching that you don't even identify or see. And that's where you get your reward, because doing things when you are being supervised and all that, it's okay, but does it fulfill you? It doesn't, because of you are doing it because somebody's saying, Khensani, I need my report by the end of the day. Why can't you do a report without being told that you need to submit and all that? So every time I tell them that, let me tell you, please make sure that these principles stay with you. Make sure that you do everything behind the scene. Don't wait for your manager or your team leader to keep on saying, no, you need to do this, you need to do that. So that's the problem that we have with our employees. And another question that I have for you, Coach, is how do you identify purpose in leadership? Do we select and vote for leadership due to the purpose that they have, or due to the character that they have, or the qualifications that they've acquired?
Yeah, I think in terms of, I think you're talking about corporate purpose.
Yes, corporate purpose.
Corporate purpose, and I think it would not be as much as what I'm talking about, because you're talking about people that were taking, they are well qualified to run certain type of organizations. But for me, a leader, like if I could give you a certain leaders, it's one that these people are not in the corporate sector. It was in the political sphere, where you had people that did not even have those type of qualifications that we're talking about, but they were able to lead people. So for me, it's one that we restrict things to having a certain qualification, to say if you don't have an MBA or this type of qualification, you cannot lead. But it's one that there's something that we're going to talk about in terms of characters of a leader. Certain characters, some people you can develop certain type of characters of leadership at different type of levels, regardless of the qualification that you are carrying. So those things you can develop certain type of, because even the characters you develop them, no one is born with characters, by the way. We are born with actually nothing. We just develop these things as we grow. So in terms of the corporate sector, obviously you would need to be going through certain type of qualification, but there are certain type of traits that you need to have. I think you need to have certain type of traits. You see, I spoke about purpose, Coach. I don't expect to have a company with a leader that cannot see beyond the current situation.
Exactly.
The leader must be able to see far beyond where he is, and he must be able to inspire his team. They must feel excited. You see, a leader must feel, people must wake up in the morning and feel like, I'm going to work for X, Y, and Z company because I know we are good. Even though currently they don't see anything. Yeah. And they can promise by that time we'll earn such a lot of money. It's what a leader can do. You inspire people so much. And a leader, again, is somebody that's supposed to have something that I call reframing. You must be able to reframe certain situations for people. An example here is what Nelson Mandela did. You remember when Khensani actually died? Because things may not go the right way that you want them to go as a leader. When Khensani died, I was so angry to say, "What now? I feel like I'm going to carry a gun and do something that I never thought I can do." But someone was able to reframe a situation to say, fellow South Africans, this is an opportunity for us to run and make sure that we run quickly and move quickly towards elections so that at least the spirit of family can be respected. So it changed the whole killing into elections. And I was like, no, I wanted to do something. But it was, a leader must be able to change your perception of COVID hits. A leader cannot say, we're in trouble. COVID has hit us. No, they must say, let's look at the opportunity here. Maybe now we can be more productive. You don't have to drive to the offices. You have your kids. You can be even more. That is what a leader must. Those are the type of characteristics. For me, those are things that a leader must have, and a leader must have something called patience. You must be very patient. Things may not work as fast as you want them to be. You must have patience, but inspire people with that type of patience to say, "No, what, we'll get there. Though it's taking longer, we are going to get there." So those are for me things that you look for. Qualifications, yes, but there are certain things that you must look for a leader, beyond the certificate that the person is carrying.
Yeah, because I was wondering if, I was asking myself that when they hire leadership, do they look into, are they purposefully driven people? Do they have a certain purpose to serve? Because, like you said, it must be somebody who's alive, even though things are negative, but the person must be able to take you out of negativity and show you opportunities. And it's true, like the day we do characteristics of a leader, or character of a leader, and we will go deep into what kind of characters and personalities we need in leadership, because it's so. Yes. It's so disturbing sometimes to find someone that, let's say somebody who's quiet, somebody who, you'll find that you have a leader in a company, but the person is not, it's like he's dead. That person is dead. The only thing we know about the person is that the person has a certain masters, or the person is, and it's so depressing to have those kind of people, because at the end of the day, you ask yourself, but what kind of a purpose is this person serving in this position? Because all I know about this person is that the person is holding this kind of qualification. That's it. But what does motivation the person has? Can the person inspire me to achieve what they've achieved in life? Well, can I be driven as they are? Those kind of things. Sometimes you'll ask yourself, well, how do we go when it comes to voting for leadership or selecting or appointing leadership? What kind of things they look into? But anyway, it's part of also being knowledgeable. A person can be knowledgeable into the position they are appointed for. However, sometimes I believe that the person must also be driven in what they're doing, so that they can bring life to others and difference to other people. So, Coach, hey, purpose is something else. I'm telling you, purpose is something else. So to those who saying, Coach, I hear you talking about purpose, but I feel like maybe I have different types of purpose that I need to fulfill. What do you say to them?
They'll need to explain to me what different purpose. You see, you need to, it's like you have an iPhone, it tells you, hey, you know what, you can use me as a cell phone, but I feel like I need to be used for different things. But if a person is talking to me directly, I'll need to know, because a purpose is all embracing. A purpose, it's all embracing. And I that's why I was saying to you that I even said gifts. Remember, I said gifts, and I was trying to show the S at the end. So those gifts can be a lot. Some people, maybe when they say that, they might be referring to having too many gifts. Not many purpose. Purpose is one, but gifts are many. I think that is where maybe people can say, no, but I can sing, those are your gifts. But the purpose can be that, like, you are an entertainer. You are here to entertain people, but your gifts are different. So I would not really understand why a person would say, I have different purpose. I think that's what I'm saying. I was giving the manufacturing that there's a certain reason why something was created as a particular. A lion was designed to just be a lion. How it can run faster or slow, that is what a lion is supposed to do. So for me, I realize, I know that, I remember even the late Pastor Miles Monroe, he used to say in his first book, he used to say, we are supposed to be doing everything. And at the end, there's another book in the future, he said, you know what, I need to correct myself. We were wired for something. All of us are wired. Some people are wired to do certain things. A Dingan is wired to do this. A Lionel Messi is wired to do this. So we are all wired. So that because it's many of us. So, and it's enough space in terms of wiring. So you can enjoy the best that from me on whatever I came to do. But I can have different gifts. I can write books, I can talk, I can facilitate, I can be on radio. There are different things that people can do, but the purpose is going to just be the purpose that I have. Because if it was a longer session, I could even share the purpose that I have. My own life purpose. It's very all-embracing. You can just feel that this is something that is huge. It's something that you're supposed to. Yeah, it can't be. I can't see just 2 or 3 of them because you only have this one life to fulfill that purpose.
Sure.
Yes, just have that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Coach, I hear you. We are at the end of our show right now, and what is going to happen is Coach Dingani is not going to leave his details for this week, but you can still comment in this in the comment section if you have any questions to ask him, because next week we are going to continue and speak about the power of understanding your purpose and the benefits of understanding what your purpose is, how to use it, or how to use your purpose. Like he said, he mentioned that you have a purpose and there are gifts that you have, and how you align your gift, it will depend on how you look into your purpose. So we are continuing in understanding what a purpose is and the benefits of understanding your own purpose. Like I did mention that it took me a very long time to seek and understand what my purpose is, even though people were saying, some will tell you that, oh, you can be a good psychologist, you can be a good social worker, you are a good wife, you can be a good pastor's wife, you can be a good doctor. You know, they give you hints on what you should do. And when you look at yourself, I was like, nah, being a mom routine, and I'm so afraid to stand in people. Just imagine standing in a church and giving a sermon or giving us an announcement. It was so difficult to do that. But you know, God, only God knows what He has created us. And let me tell you something. There's one coach of mine once told me that Khensani, he was also telling me that what he has identified about the purpose I have in life. And he said, you know what, let me leave you with one thing in your life, is you will only be creative in what God has created you to do. In other things, you can go and study something else and all that, but creativity won't be part of it. But when it comes to what God has called you to do and living your purpose, I'm telling you, creativity will just fall upon your life. And it's something that I have experienced, that whatever that I touch, as long as it's in line with what God has called me to do, every time it comes out okay. But whenever I do other things that are not in line with what God has called me to do, hey, I struggle a lot with it. But yeah, as Coach said, that, you know what, it's very important to know and understand what your purpose is, and then the rest will follow. Coach, do you want to say something before we close the show?
Nothing much. All that I hope is that at least people have an idea of the purpose and the calling itself, and how critical it is. That, and the other important thing that actually purpose makes your life easy. It clarifies your life. You start to enjoy it. That's why you are sharing the story that you are sharing from the pastor that I was talking to, the coach that I was.
Sure, it looks like I lost Coach there. That was it for tonight. And guys, I will meet you again next week, Tuesday night. We are continuing with benefits of understanding and knowing your purpose. And from me, Khensani, I love you guys. Good night and God bless you. And have a wonderful evening. And share all the information that you have with your friends and the knowledge that you have with your friends and your family. And take good care of yourself. Good night and God bless you.